This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Radar, and I'm so thrilled to be speaking with Devan Long about ghosts. How are you, Devin?
I'm great. How you doing?
Good, good. I really didn't want to watch any interview footage of you before the interview because I was hoping that you would sound just like your character,
I
but I
mean,
can tell
we
already.
yes, this is good day. Very well to know you. We shall begin conversing, and I will regale you with story. Would you prefer that we just do Thorfinn interviews here?
No, no, this is good. Where does the accent come from? Is there a certain person it's based on?
No, you know what? It's just kind of like this. I don't know. It's kind of. I mean, I'm part Norwegian, so I got some Viking in my blood, and it's just when I started to read when I got the script, I read it and I was like the voice. I was like, oh, like it was not even it was just an innate response to what was on the page, and it just kind of happened, and no one ever gave me notes, and I was like, is this cool? Are we cool? Am I doing this? And yeah, well, now we're here.
Have you received any feedback from people who actually do sound something like that?
I don't think anyone sounds something like that. Uh, Daniel Pinnock, her husband Jack, he's a voice coach, and I was like, I went up to him, I was like, hey, this voice I'm doing, is this anything? And he goes, it's nothing. But he had a term for it. It was like it was a really cool term. It was like West Seas or something. It was kind of like this generalized like piratey, Vikingy. There's a term for it, but it's not a real accent. So I think it's just kind of like this. I don't know. It's Thorfinn, and I think
I
it
like
works for Thorfinn because honestly, Thorfinn, I don't know how much English he spoke when he arrived and died, and then he got here, and then he learned English through Hetty and everything like that. So he's probably just a hodgepodge of everything, anyways.
that's fair. And are you very method on set? Do you always walk around talking the accent?
No way. No, no, no. I mean, we have fun, but no, once the cameras are done rolling and we're back in the tents, everyone's, I mean, it's a big daycare up there. It's just, 10 kids running around, drinking coffees and playing games with each other. So no, we're just straight out of character. No one does that.
What is it like to wear the same outfit every episode?
Ah, I love it. I mean, leather pants. They got like a little give to them. There's a little bit of spandex and the center components to give us a little more stretch and pliability. It gets a little hot in the summer months, especially when we're doing like exteriors and stuff. I remember last year we shot out up in Montebello, which is like an hour and a half outside of Montreal where we shoot normally, and it was the summertime, and it was just, dude, it was like 95 degrees, like 100% humidity, and I'm like running around with these pellets, and I was like, this is not me. I was like redlining, but outside of like moments like that, it's cool. It's because we're on set all day, man. Just running around, goofing.
Yeah. What do you relate most to about this character?
Oh, I mean, Thorfinn's a primal dude, and he just kind of speaks his mind, and he's very blunt. And I am too. I just don't have time for BS. I like to just get it off, right off the cuff, and just be real transparent. I feel like Thorfinn's that guy too. He just, well, he has to hold back a little bit with his like relationship stuff. And we all kind of hold back, but as far as like what he's feeling in the moment, he just acts on impulse. And I don't know. I kind of share that same kind of vibe with Thorfinn there.
I like that. I assume you're not quite as into these, ancient meats.
Ancient meads or meats.
Meats. I feel like he's always talking about all these foods he wants to eat that are not, Jay's happy to cook them, but it's
Oh
not
yeah, the
very current.
ancient. I was like ancient meats. That sounds like beef jerky that's been like dehydrated for a long time. I don't know if I'm interested in that, but we could try some. Oh yeah, the old delicacies like the ram's testicles and stuff like that. I've actually had some Rocky Mountain oysters before, and let me tell you, they're wild. It's an acquired taste, but back in the day, that was there's a lot of like I don't know vitamins and proteins and testosterone. I don't know what's going on in those things, but people love them. I don't know about this guy, but Thorfinn definitely does.
It has been fun. You were talking about his relationships. It's been fun to watch him, sort of flail a little bit with Flower, but ultimately somehow win her over. What is it like working with Sheila and building that relationship?
Dude, she is awesome. I mean, we have so much fun together, and both of our characters are just, they're both goofballs. They're polar opposites in a lot of respects, but like they also have a lot in common. And honestly, Sheila as a person, she's just such a sweetheart. And I don't know, when they started writing the storyline, we don't know where anything's going. We're kind of like, we get 2 episodes ahead, of what we're shooting, but like, it's kind of like, hand them out sometimes. So like when they arrive, and you're shooting that week and you see like the storyline unfold, like, oh wow, this really is happening. It's exciting. And it's just so much fun to play with her. And she's just such a great actress. I couldn't imagine, having an on-set girlfriend with anyone else.
I also find myself feeling bad for Pete a lot. I feel like everybody picks on him for no good reason, but I assume Richie is, he knows who he's playing. He's having a lot of fun. Everybody gets along well enough on set that I shouldn't feel too bad for this imaginary guy.
Pete does get he gets banged on pretty hard. But he's got like this like the underlying story about like, angry Pete, like bad Pete, bad to the bone Pete. And we've seen it a couple times, and that's my favorite. That's my favorite version of Pete because like, when he's like not the nice guy, he's just hardcore Pete. And I'd love to see more of that. We actually joke, so Richie Moriarty plays Pete, and I always tease Richie. I'm like, man, I really want to see you like, in the off season, like book a job like where you play like the Harley dude, like in like full like leather, just badass, bad to the bone. I would love to see. I would love to see Richie do something like that. But anyways, back to Richie on set. He's amazing, and he takes it well. He gets hit pretty hard, but he's a good sport about it.
Good to hear. It's been fun also watching the relationship develop with Bjorn, and I feel like you're shouting a lot on set, not just when you're calling to someone else in another building. Are you speaking louder than everyone else, or is that just me?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, dude, Vikings are loud dudes, and they're known for being storytellers and larger than life, and they have great senses of humor. And I just feel like you put all those things together, and you get a loud dude who thinks he's hilarious and just kind of like you know just trying to control the room. Uh, but yeah, I did kind of I kind of set the tone in the pilot because in the pilot I was only a guest star, so I had to kind of come in and let everyone know that I'm here, because I was like, man, I gotta earn my place at the table. So I kind of did ramp up the volume a little bit, and I was doing a lot of improv, just to make sure that I could, get invited back for the second episode. And so I kind of set the tone for a loud, boisterous dude, and that's kind of played through for the past couple seasons. But when I'm yelling out that window, it's so funny because the way we shoot it, for those of people that haven't watched the show, we're in a house and I have a son who lives 2 houses away. So I have to yell through a window to speak to him. But when we shoot it on set, I'm yelling out a window on set, and I'm staring at a ball on a tennis ball on a stick because he's not there. And so I just have like all these emotional like yelling scenes with the tennis ball, as you do, and it's fun. I mean, it definitely on those yelling days you try to drink a lot of tea with lemon and honey, but it doesn't do anything.
Do you do anything to get yourself into the moment when you have to channel the electricity, which what we see, I assume, is added after the scene and not actually happening there?
Yeah, I actually we have this half wolf dog, and I tell craft services to prepare a ribeye, and it's usually pretty bloody rare. And I have them attach it to the dog. His name's Ashoka, and he travels through set and brings it to me, and I eat it, and I stare him in the eyes while I eat this ribeye. And after I take a couple bites, I find Thorfinn, and then I could go deliver my scene. It takes a long time, and everyone gets really out of shape about it because it's like 45-minute process. But that's my process, and they have to respect that. Sometimes I have we have a animal wrangler bring in a raven on set, and that could be kind of a problem for everyone, but not for me because I speak to the Raven and I channel his energy. Outside of those two things, it's pretty much just acting.
I do think what cracks me up most is when Alberta gets really annoyed by him always saying land ship, especially when he talks about, what DNA means and everything. Do you get through those scenes very easily, or does that
Oh
end
yeah.
up having to be redone a lot?
Well, it's like there's certain. You mean as far as like breaking? Because when there's a joke going on forever, like like with the landship thing, that was funny. That's years ago for us. That's old hat. So like we're not laughing about that. The things that we laugh about in the moment are when we have like our little improvs within the scene, which sometimes make it onto onto the final cut. But with the landship stuff and all that, there's a it's funny you bring up Alberta because there's a little riff going on between Thorfinn and Alberta. It's kind of subtle, but like Thorfinn's talking about the hat. Alberta's kind of like ripping on for not knowing things or being too articulate about stuff. So I think we might see more of that little playful brother sister rivalry coming up in season 3.
Great. And who would you like to work with more that you feel like Thorfinn just doesn't interact with enough?
I mean, we work with everyone though. Like it's let's see. I mean, I really enjoyed my probably my favorite episode to do, which was early on, was the episode where Thorfinn and Sasapis got in an argument over the it's getting hot in here TV show and like the reality of watching that and then having someone watch episodes with that. That was my favorite episode to do. I mean, so working with Ramon, who plays the saw piece, was fantastic. But I mean, it's not like that you're working together because I feel like we're all together all the time. I mean, I guess from the outside perspective, it seems like maybe we're separated, but like we're all in a tent all the time together. Like it's we're sharing muffins. I don't eat muffins, and I shame people for eating the muffins, but that's a whole nother thing. We're just hanging out, throwing candy at each other, and I don't know. I feel like I'm working together with them all the time. So to really differentiate, it's hard for me to say, but I love them all equally.
Sure. Well, your anti-muffin comment is a perfect segue to my last question, which is to ask you about a different show that I've seen you on, Doom Patrol,
Yeah,
where you play somebody who I feel like has definitely never eaten a muffin because it just wouldn't work for his physique. What is it like being part of that show?
I love Doom Patrol. It is the craziest premise. I mean, and the execution is flawless on their part. It's just such a wild show. I remember like just reading these scripts and being like, "How are we, there's animals or the creatures that are made out of butts and they fly around and they're dangerous and they have what?" And they're like, "Just go with it, man." I was like, "All right, I'm on board." I mean, working with everyone over there was so much fun, and I will say that the scene where I flexed the wrong muscle and made that Danny, everyone on the street, have an orgasm, that was wild because I'm talking like there were 100, maybe more extras, and so from my perspective, because we were shooting over my shoulder, I would do this flex, and for people that don't know, Flex Mentalo, when he flexes, he can like open up portals, and he has like all these powers. But he's just kind of like getting the rust off, so he kind of forgets how to like do what he's supposed to do. So he flexes the wrong muscle. Instead of opening a portal, he accidentally makes everyone have an orgasm on this street. And so I'm sitting there, dressed up as Flex, and watching all these random people have orgasms for multiple, like for a whole day. It was absolutely wild and hilarious. And I don't know. I was like trying to think. I was like, how many people have actually experienced that? And I don't think very many. So that was just a part of the whole wild adventure of that show.
That's probably the most accurate, succinct preview of Doom Patrol that any unsuspecting Ghosts fan who goes to try that now will be like, okay, maybe I'm ready.
Yeah, you think you're ready, but then you're never really prepared for all that.
Well, thank you so much, Devin. It's great to revisit both these shows with you, and best of luck in the future.